Expectations can be tricky. Last year, we saw a team in the Indiana Pacers go all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, and that was against some injured opponents, and a lot of teams weren't at full strength, but the Indiana Pacers made it. And who knows, maybe we could be back in the same setting this year with their top-tier offense and improved defense, and their lead star, Tyrese Halliburton, playing at a level that we have not seen before. The Pacers are logging one of the fastest paced offenses we've seen this season and one of the most efficient offenses this season. In this playoffs, they'll be going against a familiar foe. Instead of Damian Lillard and company, this time it's Giannis Antetokounmpo, who's been averaging an amazing 31, 11, and 9 over his last 15 games and looks to dominate this series and carry the Bucks to the next round. And with the narratives that's been brewing around Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's looking to dominate this first playoff series and get the Bucks to the next round, which is something they have not done since the 2022 playoffs. Indiana Pacers, Milwaukee Bucks. Who you got? So I think this playoff series has potential to be one of the better playoff series this season. And I know that I say that about every single series, but this potentially can be like clutch game after clutch game, high scoring, epic performance, big shot making. I think this has the potential to have all of it. And what I mean by that is both of these teams have something that I don't think either team can stop consistently. And I think the biggest emphasis on this series is going to be who can execute their scheme better than the other. And when I look at playoff matchups, I look at more of who has the more detrimental deficiency in their roster and which team can attack it better. Because we look at in playoff series a lot, it's about matchups. It's not about personnel. It's not about who has the better team. It's not about who has the best player. Those days are done. It's about which team has the bigger deficiency within their roster and which team can attack it more. And spoiler alert, this is why I picked the Pistons to beat the Knicks. Knicks have the overall better team. Knicks have the best player on the floor. But I believe that Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns are the two biggest deficiencies defensively within this unit, and I think the Pistons can attack that really flawlessly. And going into this series, I think Giannis Antetokounmpo has been on a heater. Over his last 11 games, he's averaging 31 points, 11 rebounds, and 9 assists. And I don't really think the Indiana Pacers will have anything to slow down Giannis Antetokounmpo. Over the last 15 games, the Bucks have been top 5 in three-point shooting efficiency because their looks have gotten a lot better, and I believe it's how Giannis is being used. And in this clip, I'm going to show you guys what I really mean about Giannis is being used probably the best all season. Giannis is being utilized the best way possible he has been all year. And I think it has a lot to do with how much they're creating opportunities for Giannis to get head of steam to the basket. So we're going to see Giannis and Brook Lopez on the elbow. It looks like they're running some type of horn action with AJ Green on the corner, and I believe that's Gary Trent on the corner too. I don't see him, but that's just like a assumption. But if we go back just a little bit, Brook Lopez is going to set the screen for Giannis, trying to get a switch or just trying to get an advantage to get downhill. So Giannis is going to catch the ball. He's on a Castleton, which I believe played for the Lakers summer league team. Yeah, that is Gary Trent in the corner, by the way. And he's just going to drive past. Brook Lopez is going to box out. He gets an easy layup there. And I think this is another way that they're using Giannis as well. Giannis being point Giannis, just coming up the floor. And the second he crosses half court, he's going to get a screen from Brook Lopez. Gershon Yabusele is way too low on this pick and roll. Giving Giannis this much space to build a head of steam to get downhill is extremely dangerous because you have guys like Taurean Prince, Ryan Rollins on the corners and on the wing to get open shots. And this is why the Bucks have been shooting so well from three, because Giannis is creating and manufacturing open looks constantly, so these guys can knock them down. Whether it's Taurean Prince, whether it's KPJ, whether it's Gary Trent Jr., guys that can knock down shots. So once again, Giannis is just going to get an easy head of steam, and instead, he's just going to get an easy look to the rim, and he's going to get fouled. And this is what I mean if we go back earlier into the episode when I said both of these teams have deficiencies that can be attacked, and it's all about which team can carry that out better. Because I don't think the Indiana Pacers have the bodies to really put in front of Giannis to really neglect sending multiple guys to the paint to try and contain Giannis at the rim. So I would say the Pacers are probably going to start the series with Miles Turner on Giannis Antetokounmpo or Pascal Siakam, and that just does not work. Miles Turner does not have the foot speed, and Pascal Siakam just does not have the strength. So for Milwaukee, it's going to be about hitting shots. It's going to be about hitting shots. It's going to be about Giannis not being on the floor and them being able to carry out a decent offense, maybe just a mediocre offense, not a god-awful offense for when he's not on the floor. And I think this is something that really relies on Dame coming back. And even then, if Dame comes back, I don't want them going back to a spread pick and roll with Giannis and Dame. I think Dame could be more used as an off-ball player and Giannis just having that load still put on his shoulders. But one thing that really concerns me with the Bucks is how will they look when Giannis isn't on the floor. Giannis is probably going to have to play 42 to 44 minutes a night. And how much is he going to really be able to shoulder that for a 7-game series? Because I don't want Giannis to have to play 44 minutes a night and then get burnt out by game 4, game 5, and they lose like 2 or 3 games. Now, as for the Indiana Pacers, their superpower is having multiple guys on the floor that can make decisions. Guys like Pascal Siakam, guys like Tyrese Halliburton, guys like Benedict Mathurin, guys like Aaron Nesmith, guys like Pascal Siakam. Did I say Pascal Siakam's name already? When you have guys like Pascal Siakam, who's a fantastic mismatch attacker, fantastic post player, mid-range scorer, somebody that can put the ball on the floor consistently. You have a guy like Andrew Nembhard who's shooting 48% from the mid-range and could put the ball on the floor and get almost anywhere he wants inside the arc. You have Tyrese Halliburton, who's probably one of the best decision makers in the league, if not the best decision maker in the league, making plays off the fly, making plays off the catch, playing off ball. And you have Miles Turner, a guy that's going to space the floor and be a good pick and pop candidate and roller to the basket. And it's going to rely on the Milwaukee Bucks just making rotations, the Milwaukee Bucks communicating on defense. And that's not something I necessarily trust with them. This is a game against the Pacers. And one thing I took away, by the way, this is the game where Tyrese Halliburton hit that game winner and Darvin Ham was just sitting there with his hands in his pockets. This is something that I noticed within these games and just within the Bucks defense. I just want you to watch how much open threes this team gets. I want you to watch. This is something that's going to have to change, and it's going to have to change fast. Like Andrew Nembhard, once again, it's a guy that can get wherever he wants. Brook Lopez doesn't even notice the trailing Miles Turner here. He doesn't notice him. So Giannis has to really just keep an eye on Miles Turner. Miles Turner feels the pressure, and it's a wide open Pascal Siakam for 3. Knocks it down. Here's another possession where the communication could be off. Tyrese Halliburton is going to make a move on Taurean Prince, and he's going to get rim pressure. Now KPJ, he has to help off. Now you have a wide open Andrew Nembhard from 3. Andrew Nembhard is a 30% three-point shooter. Don't necessarily know how reckless you want to be closing out to him because he is a good ball handler and can create rim pressure. But as Taurean Prince here, you have to know that he's going to swing this ball the second he sees Kevin Porter Jr. running at him. You have to know that. You have to know that. So even if this shot goes in or not, which I don't think it does, that's a wide open shot. The Pacers are going to make those. We've all seen this video, or we've all seen this game where the Milwaukee Bucks fall like 25 points to the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I'm going to tell you exactly how they fell 25 points. And I think the most important thing for the Milwaukee Bucks is in this series is if they communicate and they rotate. They cannot give up open threes the way that they do. And you have to find a way to keep Brook Lopez out of space. You have to find a way to keep him as a low man. That's the only way you're going to have some type of success defensively. I just don't think Brook Lopez can be out in space like he would have to in this series. And the Pacers are going to hunt that. I don't necessarily know what the counter is to try and keep Brook Lopez out of space, whether it's pre-switching every screen and roll, just maybe biting the bullet on Andrew Nembhard as a three-point shooter, or biting the bullet on Aaron Nesmith as a three-point shooter, and you try and keep him out of the paint as much as possible. But what I've seen so far, if Miles Turner is knocking down those threes at a consistent rate, Brook Lopez is not going to be able to be parked by the basket. And this is what I mean. Like, they're going to allow so many open threes. As you can see, Giannis is going to play at the level and pick and roll. So therefore, Bobby Portis is probably going to have to help. Kyle Kuzma also sends help. But one of these guys has to be attached to DiVincenzo. One of these guys have to be attached to DiVincenzo. So once Naz Reid gets the roll here, they both collapse. DiVincenzo gets a wide open three, and nobody closes out. Nobody closes out. Not a soul. After you take away the roll from Naz Reid, somebody has to rotate. And I think it's Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis has to make the rotation because Kyle Kuzma has a better angle. So Bobby Portis is going to have to be the one to rotate on Dante DiVincenzo, and they don't. They just sit there. He has time to clean his shoes. He has time to clean his shoes. Make sure his feet are set, and he shoots the shot. It obviously goes in. So that's ultimately what my decision for this series comes down to. It comes down to which team do I trust more to carry out their scheme and to continuously attack the other team's weaknesses, and that team's the Indiana Pacers. We've seen all season that the Milwaukee Bucks are just not as adequate defensively to guard a team like the Indiana Pacers. I think the Bucks' non-Giannis minutes are going to be really bad, whether it's whether Giannis plays 40 minutes to 45 minutes, whether it's 3 to 8 minutes, it's going to be really bad. I trust the Bucks. I don't trust the Bucks' late game execution as much as I trust the Indiana Pacers' late game execution. I think the Pacers can get Brook Lopez in space as much as they want him to. And I think the Pacers have the better offense equipped to attack what Brook Lopez does badly. So I do believe Giannis can average 35, 13, and 9 in this series. I'm 100% belief of that. I just don't know if I trust Milwaukee's outside shooting. I don't know if I trust Milwaukee's rotations defensively enough for me to pick against this Pacers team, who's been one of the best offenses in the league damn near all season, have Tyrese Halliburton, who's been playing his best basketball all year, and have so many weapons to use to really attack Brook Lopez and how bad they rotate on defense. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys like this type of content, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to continue to try and make great playoff predictions for you guys, give great playoff analysis. We have a lot of really big things coming for this channel, and I'm very excited to show you guys those things. And once again, before you guys go out, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.